everyone, it's averydawnside and welcome back to another video. This is the first video that I am filming in 2022 because I filmed the one that you guys saw on January 1st last year, so I'm really excited to start filming for this year and get into things. I've been really off my training game because many of you know, I talked about it in my past few videos, and if you're a returning subscriber, I was on vacation last week and I had the best time. I had an amazing time, so I'm glad to be back, but I've fallen off my training game and my motivation has kind of fallen through the floor. But we are back today, starting with a highly requested video. Well, not specifically requested, but you all seem to really enjoy my story times about my life, specifically embarrassing moments about guys that have hit on me. So I have quite the story for you all today that I've been waiting to share because I just never really had a reason to, but now I do. So we're gonna get into it and I hope you enjoy the video. So the winter update is still around, so we're gonna go to the winter village and start our training there. But today's story actually started a few years ago, but there was like a recent update to it, which is why I figured I would film this video because it just reminded me of it. And it's the story of the time that the Verizon guy hit on me. Now that might not sound like too crazy or anything, but it's actually quite a funny story. It's not the longest one, but I'm gonna try and give you all the details possible. So the story begins, this is a true story by the way. It was like a few years ago, like I want to say like 5-ish years ago, or no, probably like 3 years ago actually. And I really needed a new phone, so I had a super duper old phone at this point. I had like a really old iPhone model and I needed to upgrade my phone. I needed to upgrade my phone really badly. So of course my mom and I headed over to our local Verizon store. And this was before we had like our regular guy that we go to that just like knows my family and stuff. Usually he was there, but he wasn't there this day, so we had this other guy helping me out, and we are gonna call this guy Dwight for scientific purposes. His name wasn't actually Dwight, but it did start with a D, so we're gonna call this guy Dwight. So I went to, also if you watch The Office, I love you. I love The Office. But anyways, so we head over to our local Verizon store and Dwight is there, and Dwight is like extremely tall, like had orange hair, like an orange beard. He was a few years older than me at the point because I was a teenager at the point, but yeah, he's probably a little bit older. Maybe he's like early 20s maybe. So the age like wasn't crazy, don't think he's like an old man or anything. But so we get into the Verizon store and we're picking out like my new phone and everything, like getting the upgrade started, and he's like, okay, we've got to transfer over your data. And he was super nice, like it wasn't anything crazy, he was really nice, but he's like, okay, we're gonna start like transferring over our data. So we start doing that, and it's my mom and I in the store. This was before I believe I could drive, or no, I could drive at this point. So we start transferring over data and we run into like an issue because basically with iPhones you have to like back up your iCloud data, and I'm really lazy and don't do that because I run out of storage so quickly. So I didn't actually end up doing that. Anyways, so this is where the problem begins because none of my photos would transfer over. And so I was like, okay, this is not ideal. So I ended up being in the store with this guy for just like hours trying to figure out what was wrong with the phone because we couldn't figure out why my data wasn't transferring. Like before we knew that that's the reason why it wasn't, we had to go through a bunch of like procedures and figure out what it was. And he was like nice, but he was kind of quiet. Also, if you just heard a noise, that was my dog jumping down because he was on the bed with me. But yeah, so he was really nice. He would make like small talk here and there. He wasn't like the most talkative person in the world, but like it wasn't weird or anything at the time. So we finally figured out what the issue was, started transferring over the data, and we're like, okay, cool, like this is good, we've got this figured out. But the problem then was it was gonna take multiple hours, and at this time I was like, yeah, I'll just like kind of hang around and whatever, because we didn't think it was gonna take as long. as it ended up taking, but we figured it would be like an hour. So my mom had to go run an errand, so she just left me in the store. Like, no big deal. I was just kind of there, like, hanging around, vibing, you know, not a big deal. I am failing this race so bad. So we made small talk, like, here and there, and he was, like, talking about his family and all this stuff. It was fine. We were vibing. Nothing crazy. So at this point, I don't know what's going on with my controls. My game just, like, decided to say no to that race. Anyways, so at this point, it was nighttime. The store is going to be closing in like an hour. So we had finally figured it out. I had been in the store for probably like 4 hours in total, and this guy had been helping me the whole time. And so finally the time came where it was like, okay, like I'm finished. My phone's all good. And yeah, it was great. And like my mom wasn't there, it was just me, and I was like, thanks like so much for helping me, like I really appreciate your help. Like I know like it's probably frustrating when like someone's phone isn't working how it should be and stuff like that. He was like, no, like I'm super happy to help you, blah 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 blah. I was like, okay, cool. So I leave the store, and you think that the story ends there, but it doesn't. Okay. So during the whole time that I was there, I never got the vibe, like, you know when you kind of like just automatically get a vibe that someone might be interested in you or like wants to hit on you or something? I never picked that up. I never got that vibe. I like was just vibing. Maybe, okay, for context too, I didn't think that he wasn't my type per se, so I wasn't really personally interested. I had also just gotten out of a really long relationship. I had just broken up with my past boyfriend, so I like definitely wasn't looking or anything. I was like grieving. Anyways, so definitely was not at the time like interested in looking for other opportunities or anything. So after that, I was like, okay, anyways, go home, anything. And I get a DM on my Instagram, and I was like, oh, like I wonder, it was like a DM request, and I was like, no one ever really DMs me. I wonder what this is about. I open the DM, and it's the Verizon guy. Like, I kid you not, it's literally the Verizon guy. I have screenshots, and I will put them in the video as I read them. And I was like, what? Like, hello? Why is the Verizon guy, like, DMing me? And it was super duper strange. So I'm gonna pull up the screenshots, and we're gonna read them. Because it wasn't like weird, but I was like, how did this guy find my Instagram? Like at that point, my Instagram was just my name, but I was like, he must have had to like look at my like data, like my first and last name in the Verizon account. Like he had my phone number and everything because he worked at Verizon. Like Verizon has your name and info if you have like a phone with them, you know? So he clearly found it through that, but definitely I don't think that's like allowed. Like I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to use someone's like information from a job, and like at the point in the story there was literally no like connection or anything that would have like given him the hint to like DM me. Anyways, so he DMs me, and the DM says, and I quote, okay, let me let my dog out first and then we will read this DM. Okay, we let my floofy out, so now we can read the DM. But, and yes, I have screenshots from this because I still have it in my old Instagram. It says, hey, what up? I don't mean to be weird at all by following you. I just thought you were very cute and thought I'd give it a shot. Haha. So at this point, I'm like, okay, that's like nice. It's not weird, but it was just the fact that this guy, like, okay, my issue with this was I had been in the store the whole time, and I so much would have rather him like say something to me in the store, because it would have been less weird to me that he like found my social media and stuff like through my information in the Verizon system. It would have been so much better if he had just been like, hey, like I think we like vibe well, like do you want to like hit it off? And I'd been like, no. But like obviously not that harsh, I just like wasn't interested. But the fact that he found my Instagram, okay, anyways, that's the part that makes this story like kind of interesting. So I responded back and I said, hey, haha, thank you. I honestly thought you only followed me to see if my photos uploaded, lol. Because at this point, my photos on my phone were still uploading from my old iCloud to my current phone, but I had gone home because I didn't need to be in the Verizon store to do that. So I figured he was just like reaching out to make sure everything was running smoothly, because like I said, in the store there was nothing in there that like gave me this idea that he was like attracted to me, or like literally there was no connection. So I was like, okay, cool, we're vibing. So he said, I honestly felt really bad for keeping you in the store for so long. Usually it goes so much smoother than that, but I appreciate you for being patient with me for real. But no, I wouldn't just follow for that if I didn't think you were cute too. And at this point I was like, oh, this is so awkward, because I didn't, like, literally I can tell you my thought process at this moment was like, in my head I was like, you cannot, like, just avoid this person, because what if I go into the store tomorrow, because, like, what if the photos on my phone don't upload bad, like, correctly, and I have to go back and get it fixed? I would hate for it to be so awkward where, like, I just ignored him. So I was like, I can't just ignore him, I have to respond, but, like, give the message that I'm not like, I don't know. I'm really bad at doing that too. So anyways, I was like, oh gosh. So I said, no, it's okay. I just tried to avoid the whole, like, cute thing. I literally just disregarded the whole, like, him trying to flirt with me and just keep to, like, Verizon talk, because, like I said, I wasn't interested. So I said, no, it's okay. I'm so sorry I used up a lot of your day. I'm sure it gets frustrating with just one person. I appreciate all your effort with the phone, but the photos haven't uploaded yet, so I'll be back soon. Haha. Because I didn't want to, like I said, I just didn't want to ruin the relationship with the Verizon guy because I needed to get my phone fixed. That sounds bad, but, like, I didn't know what to do. And he said, don't be sorry. I deal with people all day for even longer. Really, you were okay. I wanted to make sure I could help you the best I could and make sure you had everything you needed. So I was like, okay, he's probably picking up the vibe that, like, we're not, like, nothing's crazy, nothing's gonna happen. And he said, insert word, really, still after all that, I'm sorry, but the next time I work is Wednesday, so if you wanted to come see me to help you with that, I got you. So I was like, oh gosh, this man is giving me his work schedule. Oh no, it's basically like he wants to see me again. I was like, oh no. So I came up with a different excuse. And I was like, well, I appreciate it so much. I'm sure we'll get it sorted out in the end, and I'm glad I didn't bother you with my questions. If I can figure out a time to come in Wednesday, I definitely will, but it'll be hard because I have dance practice every night this week. So I was like, I didn't want to completely, like, cold hard let him down, because, like I said, if I had to go into the store, if I had to have him be the one to figure out my phone, I didn't want it to be weird. I wanted him to be able to fix it. But yeah, I did have dance practice every night, so I was like, okay. He said, of course, anytime. Yeah, I want to help you get it sorted out too. I know it's frustrating going from an old phone to a new one and not having anything on there, but you were never a bother at all. No worries if Wednesday doesn't work out. I'll be working Saturday and Sunday again, so whenever you do get the chance to come in, just let me know. But I was thinking in the meantime, you should give me your Snapchat or something and we can talk more in there if you'd like. So I'm like, my goodness, this is not going well, because he's not picking up the message. And honestly, in hindsight, like, now I think I would be more like, hey, no, I'm not really interested. But at that point, like I said, I just wanted to get my phone fixed. So I was like, okay, we've just got to vibe with this. So I gave him my Snapchat, and this is where, like, the screenshots stop because I don't have any more screenshots. But I gave him my Snapchat. The first picture he sends is a picture of his abs, and then I didn't respond. And that was the end of that moment. And I was like, well, I ended up having to go back to a Verizon store, but I went to a different Verizon store 30 minutes away because I was like, you know, we are not risking that interaction, because it was just embarrassing at this point. And then, so that's not even the end of the story. Okay. So like I mentioned, this was like a solid 3 years ago. I was in high school at this point. I was a senior in high school. Yeah. So this was a solid 3 years ago. And you'd think that the story just ends there. He Snapchatted me the picture of his abs, and I was like, we're not responding. Life went on. Well, the reason why I decided to record this video was because I upgraded my phone 2 weeks ago, last week, because that phone was really old, it was dying, and I needed a new one. So I went and I upgraded my phone, but here's the weird part where the universe works in strange ways. That morning, my mom and I had been talking about, like, how I needed to upgrade my phone and all of those things. And I go on Facebook. And lo and behold, guess who was friend requesting me? The Verizon guy. The Verizon guy, 3 years later, after I totally opened his Snapchat, didn't respond, he unfollowed me on Instagram, I unfollowed him, we pretended nothing happened because it was just embarrassing at that point for the both of us. 3 years later, found my Facebook and friend requested me on Facebook. And I declined him because we're not going through this again, because now I'm older, I'm wiser somewhat, and we're not going through that again. So that was the story of the time the Verizon guy hit on me. And I hope it was entertaining to some of you. I think back to these moments and cringe a little bit, because it's the most random spot, and it put me in such a weird position at the time, because like I said, just wanted to get my phone fixed, but apparently I can't do that without having a weird interaction. So yes, I have so many of these stories that are like really random, of like guys hitting on me in weird ways, and I don't want that to sound like, oh, like she should be lucky that like guys hit on her. My issue is truly I'm too nice that people think that I'm flirting with them sometimes, but it's really just I'm nice. So that is how I end up in these weird encounters with people. So like I said, I've got plenty of these stories, and if you want to hear more of them, please feel free to let me know down below in the comments. But as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I love you so much. Thank you for watching. I really hope you got some enjoyment out of this, because it was definitely interesting to tell. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!